home is Appalache Correctional Institution East Unit, part of the Apalachee. Level 5 custody level that includes close, medium, and minimum custody offenders. East unit is comprised of open bay dormitory housing units. And actually, for those that don't know who Stephen Sterns is the man who unalived little Madeline Soto. Hold on a second. He's the so as of July 21st, 2025, Stephen Sterns was sentenced to multiple life sentences in prison without parole for the unaliving and ex abuse of his girlfriend's daughter, 13-year-old Madeline Soto. He had a plea agreement. Sterns entered a plea deal with prosecutors because I think he was looking at the death penalty to avoid the death penalty. And he pleaded no contest to first degree unaliving and guilty to 20 counts of ex offenses. There was a waiver of appeals as part of the plea. He waived all rights to appeal, ensuring finality for the victim's family. And I just think it's so weird that Jen didn't show up to this. Like, she didn't have a statement, which I still don't understand why Jen hasn't been taken to task, but that's what Stephen Sterns did. And we are looking at his new digs.
They don't even show you what it looks like on their website because it's so bad and there's so much corruption. All right. I'm dead serious, and I'm going to show you why. Abso-freaking-lutely it is. Some of you guys don't even know what that means to be the worst prison and what's happening. So you can take a look at all that.
You know, it's a bad prison when it's the worst prison in Florida, and you could imagine, like, I don't imagine the prisons in Florida are that great, although Lindsay was in a prison in Florida, and she said the food in the prison, which was the same prison that Sarah Boone is in, was good. So, like, but yeah. Whoops, I didn't mean to go that fast. Just trying to speed it up a little bit.
Why you look at that? Why? I'm not the only one that says that. Obviously, Stephen Sterns has moved to his forever home in ACI, or Appalache Correctional Institute. Right? It's one of the oldest Florida and worst prisons. It's one of the oldest Florida and oldest and worst. All right. This freaking thing was built in 1949 and it hasn't been updated, guys. The Appalache Correctional Institute, it's the East Unit. It's a state prison for men that are located in Sneads, Jackson County, Florida. It's owned and operated by the Florida Department of Corrections, and it has a mix of security levels, including minimum, medium, and closed, and houses adults and male offenders. Now, the first time it came out was in 1949, where they came up with the Appalache Correction Institute, and they made the East Unit. It has a maximum of 1,322 prisoners. And it's just real bad, guys. It's real bad.
I did a quick little Google and I said, Appalache Correctional Institution problems. And it says problems at the Appalache Correctional Institution, ACI, include physical health deficiencies with issues like expired medical supplies and incomplete health logs documented in past corrective action plans. Additionally, human rights concerns were raised by the Inter-American Commission on Human Rights. In 2023, these cited allegations of abuse by both gang inmates and prison officials, and the state's failure to act with due diligence to investigate these claims. Staff training and resources issues are also a recurring theme, with audits highlighting shortcomings in employee and contractor training, as well as the importance of addressing inmate access to confidential support services. So it looks like there's a lot of those problems going on. Looks like there was a beating. Apalachee beating. Oh man, these ad blockers. Anyway. There was a beating, puts prison brutally in spotlight. This was in 2018. Panama City hospital staff have a protocol of keeping a prisoner patient door shut, but in the 4 days after accepting inmate Darren Glover into the ICU on July 13th, 2015, they diverged from that protocol out of fear they wouldn't reach him in time if he flatlined. So there's that going on in Stephen Sterns jailio, prisonio. Hold on a second. I need to fix. It says that my browser isn't connected. Sometimes it remains connected. Sometimes it doesn't. So I need to reconnect it just in case. Okay.
East unit of Appalache Correctional Institute. Wait till you see what it looks like. You guys are just literally saying that sounds terrible. Just wait, guys. I'm going to show you the first thing, and then I want to show you something. I want to make sure we touch on Maddie. All right, so let's just start with an inmate death at that prison. All right, inmate death in Apalachee. We're just
okay. Let's go forward and see if we can get into the photos she's going to show. Again, I will put the links for everything in the YouTube show notes. We do this for fair play use and to cite our sources. We often talk over things, stop, start, move around. Yeah, but if you want to watch it in its entirety, that's where you can find it.
Literally right there. It's the Appalache Correctional Institute, and it's the East unit. Now, if you look at it, they're showing this from the 1970s. I can't find anything else.
And they're showing it from far away and I think they're using the Bigfoot camera on it. You can't even, it's like shaky and moving and you can't really see it.
Not anything else, but just inside an aerial view. It's like they just gave up on it after a while. All right. So API is where, or ACI is where Stefan's going to be. All right. Appalache Correction Institute, ACI, excuse me. It's one of the state's oldest prisons, and they claim for it to be the worst.
They're having it. They're cleaning and killing chickens. Is it like it makes a chicken coop? Like I don't understand.
First, this is what they're doing in there, guys. This is how they did this in the 1970s.
Are they still doing that to this day?
Now we have 333 people. Stop for a second, say a prayer that Maddie gets the justice she deserves. This is the prison from the 70s, all right? So we're taking it way back to Apalachee. So that's where Stefan is, okay? Now, it's interesting because they do talk about having safety concerns and lots of violence. So as we watch this, play this video, you guys are going to see. All right, you're going to see what's going on. Whether he requests,
I mean, if they had all this chicken and cows, at least they were probably getting some fresh food. Let me see what you guys are saying. I would stop eating chicken. Yeah, I'm sure they don't like it. Yeah, she said it was in Jackson County. Which Panama City hospital? I don't know. I really scanned the thing. I will put the link for it if you want to read through it. And also you had to subscribe to the publication. And I couldn't, so I stopped reading it. But I didn't know that prisons did like a dairy. It looks like it's a farm, but probably not now. This was the 70s.
Or not. They may not care about Stephen Sterns, especially with what he's been convicted of and suspicion of. They may just say, we don't care about him. Let's bury what he has to say. No pun intended, right? What's up, everybody? Did I miss something? Foxy Amazon gifted one guilty of crime membership.
I was trying to see if we could get some more information on it, and it looks like the 10 worst prisons in Florida in 2023. Walton Correctional, DeSoto Annex, Charlotte Correctional, Swanee Correctional, Lowell Prison, Santa Rosa, Columbia Correctional, Dade, Martin, Union, but I don't see the Appalachian in here. Apalachee. There's a lot of correctionals in Florida, though. Unless Apalachee is called something else. And then here is a review. Well, I don't want to sign in while online, but the review on Indeed, it got a 3-star, 3 stars. But there sure isn't a lot of photos or anything of it. Oh, wait, there's some. But it is from the 70s. I mean, I guess as far as prisons go, it looks like any other prison. Looks like there's something, a beating here. Apalachee beating puts prison brutally. Oh, there's that. That's the guy that went to the hospital. This looks horrible. SPLC proposes fixes. Oh, that's Alabama. Sorry. Let me go back. So not all, even all of this are Apalachee. So I guess she is right. There's not a lot. Is this the Appalachian one that's locking people in shower stalls? Huh. So I guess she's right. There really isn't a lot of photos of this prison. It must be because it's so horrible. Darn it. It says it lost it again. Hold on a second, you guys. It keeps telling me that it's lost my browser.
There's lots of gang activities, and the East Unit is dangerous because life is cheap there. It says, I've seen inmates robbed at point blank range. The inmate robbing the other inmate is usually armed with a shank or a hooker, is what they called it. Now, listen, the reason I say that, another reason why it's very terrible, is because the people that go there don't have money, or people already have given up on them, versus Stephen Sterns, that when...
Well, I can't imagine Stephen Sterns is going to have a good time at any prison because of what he's in prison for. I mean, he's the shit on the bottom of society's shoe. So, I mean, he's worse than a schmurderer in prison. So, I can't imagine. But if this prison's so bad, it sounds like he's going to have a horrible time, and I'm down for it. I'm down for it.
The criminals see him on the news, or they hear that Deb and Chris are giving him money for commissary, they might just come and want to shank him if he doesn't give his commissary up from Chris and Deb. And that is the reality of this prison. Again, they haven't done ish since 1970. I'm going to show you. This is in California, guys. We're talking about Appalache Correctional Institute. It's a Florida Department of Corrections branch. And that's what we're looking at right here, guys. We're just looking at them build it.
That's
it
why I couldn't find it in Florida, because it's in California, but it's a branch of Florida. Interesting. That's interesting.
It's the nature of prison, guys. It's the nature of prison. You don't go to prison to have a good time. And they definitely put him in one of the worst prisons that he could possibly be in. one of the oldest and one of the most dangerous, like I said. All right. So let's keep going. My internet is slow today. I feel like it's been like that. All right, hold on.
The overwhelming majority of Florida's counties are considered rural.
All right, hold on. Okay, so let's listen to this real quick. Again, this is the prison. This is it's one of the most dangerous they pride themselves on. And new arrivals, guys, are warned immediately about the dangers. They warn you about danger inside a prison. They warn you about the day-to-day. The warden will give you this. The warden warns you the second you get off the bus about the dangers of getting robbed or even red rummed inside of that prison. All right. Staffing conditions are challenging. Very challenging is a nice word, with someone calling it. Now listen, you guys can make your mind up, but these people are calling it the worst compound in the state. Bad administration, severely understaffed inmates run the compound, poor equipment, and used uniforms is covered in mold and rats. Right? If you guys want to hear that again, just read this down there. They pride themselves on talking about their prison being one of the worst and most dangerous. All right. So you guys want to look at that? Take a look at that. It's the nature of that beast.
Here it says employee reviews describe challenging working conditions, with some calling it the worst compound in the state. But administration severely understaffed, inmates run the compound, poor equipment. So,
all right, let's take a look at this. It's called Crisis in Corrections, and it's giving you a good idea of what the crises are and what Stephen Sterns is facing.
And are home to most of Florida's prisons. And those prisons are often the top employer in those communities. Now, a labor crisis is threatening many of these facilities, causing them to shut down. And that could have a huge economic.
Well, that's happening around prisons all across the country. I mean, it seems like it'd be a horrible job to have. Ugh.
Impact. Florida's crisis in corrections is leaving Cross City.
And I think this is important so you guys can understand.
So it's not in California. She said Florida, but did she say California? I thought she said California, but I think it's in Florida. Let me look where this is.
Effing gets transferred to another Florida prison system. It's not good, guys. I did some really deep research on this. I've been researching these prisons since Stephen was moved, and I didn't know where he was going to go. All right. So I did not know that. But that is the nature of being in prison and the crisis in the corrections of.
So it looks like in Appalache Correctional Institution, well, the West unit. Didn't they say he's in the East unit? It's in it's Sneads, Florida. The warden is David Maddox. And this is the East unit that they're saying he's in. Says there's academic programs, but she reported that there isn't. And the vocational programs, it's not chickens, it's cabinet making these days. So they must have got rid of the chickens. The chickens. Too bad. I would have loved to see Stephen Sterns have to pluck a chicken. I want to see if she linked this video in her. She does. Oh, good. I want to just go in and look at it ourselves. So, welcome to those that are just joining us. We've got Florida Woman Friday going on here. We have looked at some of our favorite Florida cases. We looked at ᓚᘏᕐAIDS. We looked at Sarah Boone, and now we are at Stephen Sterns. We're in he's at the Apalachee prison in Florida, and it's reportedly one of the worst prisons, and he's having a really bad time, mold and rats, and apparently gangs run the show and the prison guards are all corrupt. And yeah, so he's just not having a good time, and this is the prison that he's at right now. And this appears to be the type of unit he's in where, oh gosh, this would be a nightmare. Oh. Are they, they're not bunk beds at least, but well, some of them are bunk beds. And so he's basically in a powder keg. Let's see what else. Let me get to the other links that she has down there. Hold on. Um got too many things open. Okay, so and let's go over to this one. It looks like Stephen Sterns at New Prison, and the gang members are waiting for him. There's no volume. Okay, something's happening with my. Uh, Let me stop it and try to reshare my screen.
The barrel. We are here to talk about where he is at and what's going on with this disgusting chomo. So for those that don't know, my name is Pino. I've spent over 10 years incarcerated in the state of Florida, numerous institutions, numerous jails, prisons, different times, 3 years on one bid, 7 years on another, spent a lot of my adolescent life incarcerated. And I enjoy speaking on true crime and anything that has to do with true crime, criminality, and anything that has to do with the criminal underworld in general. We speak on it over here in Raw Talk. Now, today we're here to talk about Mr. Stephen Sterns. Stephen Sterns was moved this morning, early morning. Pack it up. They told Stephen get on a bus and they sent him to Appalache Correctional Institution East Unit. So for those that don't know who Pino is, I actually got released from Appalache Corrections East Unit. Stephen Sterns is currently...
This is even better. He was actually at the same unit as what Stephen Sterns is currently residing in.
Housed on administrative confinement, which is protective management. For those that don't know, administrative confinement houses protective management, and protective management is a form of protection. It is not permanent protection. It is temporary protection. And this morning, he was transferred from Central Florida Reception Center to Appalache Correctional Institution. He remains in administrative confinement under protective management.
When was this made? This was made 2 weeks ago, so he's maybe settled in by now.
However, that can change within the next 72 hours. So Mr. Stephen Sterns is on administrative confinement. But like I said, within 72 hours, he can be released. He is at his permanent camp now. He is no longer in reception. He is at Appalache Correctional Institution, which in my opinion is one of the most dangerous prisons in the state of Florida. When I was at Appalache Correctional Institution, majority of the compound was either gang members, psych patients, or gays. Now, I did reach out to a source, somebody who I was incarcerated with at Appalache Correctional Institution. And they do say that word is being passed around and the predators have their antennas up. See, Mr. Stephen Sterns cannot remain in confinement his whole time. It was all right. He checked into protective management at Central Florida Reception Center. And it's only right when he gets transferred, he'll still be in confinement at Appalache Correctional Institution. But what I know about Appalache Correctional Institution is they won't keep you in confinement forever. He has about 72 hours before classification goes over his file and decides to send him to no other than our dorm.
They're going to be like, nope, time to fly, little bird. It's time to fly. Time to get a few of your licks and you're just.
You don't know what our dorm is. It is a close custody dorm. Almost everybody. I spent majority of my time in our dorm, in R3 to be exact, and almost everybody in our dorm has a life sentence. As a matter of fact, when I was at Appalachian Correctional Institution, 90% of the compound had a knife. There was even
I mean, that's what everybody that I like, the pokey thing is the weapon of choice in prison. I can't imagine, like, it would be very hard to have a pew-pew in there. So it seems like the pokey would be the thing. And sorry, I have to use these words for YouTube. It just bothers me. Right, Junie? I wish I could stop it. Looks like the little bird's getting done with his shower too. So, but we're wrapping things up. Let's keep going and just finish up and just rolling around in Stephen Sterns' misery and enjoying it. And then I hope you guys go out there and have a wonderful Friday. I can't believe it's only 11:55. The little bird decided to wake up at 5:30, and I feel like I have a full last day by noon when I get up at 5:30. Because really, I wake up early anyway. I wake up about between 5 and 6, but once he gets up, I just have to, it's like having a kid, you got to get the treats ready. You got to turn the lights on. You got to get him comfy, cozy. You got to entertain. And it's like, it's not what I want to do at 5:30 in the morning.
Of homosexuals on the compound called the ᓚᘏᕐAIDS, and they will end your life just as fast as a blood or a crip.
Get an animal that talks, Amy said to herself. It'll be fun. I hope he talks, I said. I just it's a special kind of bond having a bird that can communicate with you with words, and sometimes the words he's using are right. And it totally melts my heart when he says, I love you. But 5:30 in the morning is just too early to wake up. He has been getting a little bit better and sleeping to 6 or 6:30. The first time he slept to 6:30, I had to go in and rattle the cage. I felt like I was doing a Jessica laying in terms of endearment and going in and rattling the crib to make sure the baby was still awake, because that's so abnormal. But yeah, I don't want to make it sound like having a bird is a bad thing, because it's a very beautiful thing, but it's the thing that you should think hard and long before doing.
Now, where does this put Stephen Sterns? Like I said, I talked to an inside source at Appalache Correctional Institution, and they do say that the predators are waiting on Stephen Sterns. Now, is Stephen Sterns the only chomo at Appalache Correctional Institution? Absolutely not. He's not. See, there are other chomos at Appalache Correctional Institution, such as this guy right here. And if you read this guy's charges, they are completely disgusting, as well as this guy who is sentenced to 25 mandatory for charges that are unspeakable. Now, will Stephen...
Well, I bet you Stephen Sterns will have a new bestie going in then. I'm sorry somebody did that to you, Kim. That sucks. And sorry that happened to you, Olga. People are doing things just to be cruel these days, and I don't understand it. That's why you got to up your game and try to be a little extra kind to people, because why do... But you know, there are people out there that just aren't nice people. When somebody, there was a channel that was coming after me, and somebody said to me, like, what kind of people follow that person? And I'm like, well, they're not the only one in this world that are unkind, so they attract the other unkind people. So I mean, there's a whole world of kind people too, and I hope some of those people you come across these days too.
Sterns fall into a line and maybe be able to do his time like these two individuals. That is a possibility, because with every prison, there's always that one dorm that they consider a safe dorm, whether it be, you know, a faith-based dorm, or whether it may be an honorary dorm, or a trustee dorm, or a dorm where a lot of orderlies work, like the canteen orderly, the maintenance orderly. Is this a possibility that Stephen Sterns will land in this dorm? Yes, but it all depends on classification. See, if classification decides that he is not eligible for one of these dorms, what's going to happen is they're going to put him in our dorm, and I can guarantee you Stephen Sterns will be somebody's wife within a month time frame. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is, you know, it's a whole nother world in there.
Okay, so he's saying that there is a possibility that Stephen Sterns will not be put into the safe dorm, and there's a possibility that he will be put into the R dorm. And it sounds like the R dorm is not the safe dorm, and that Stephen may end up being somebody's little wifey. So
baby, I'm dancing with you tonight. Here in the blue, I'm dancing and falling out, hoping for some time with you.